Hey folks, how's it going? Today I am talking about another game that was sent to me. If you have a game that you've been working on that you would like to appear on this channel, I've put the best ways to reach me in the description box. I do have a bit of a small pile of games that I am working through, so there is about a month to 2 month delay between me receiving a game to getting it on the channel, but I pretty much review everything that's sent to me. I haven't yet refused to review something. Something interesting about this game was that it was written as a piece of academic writing as well as a game. As tabletop gaming spreads as a hobby, it's going to get more notice, and perhaps it might get more attention in the academic world. I, for one, hope that this trend continues, as I think gaming is not only fun, but it could be the source of a lot of interesting academic discussion. This game was written with the discipline of anthropology in mind. So without much further ado, let's talk about Loaded for Bear by Robin Green. Loaded for Bear is a game that's designed to take place in a low fantasy setting. In this game, settlements are very isolated from one another. There is no major infrastructure linking settlements to settlements. No roads, waterways, or paths. Therefore, the player characters are a rare example of a group of people who travel from one place to another. Why they are traveling is up to you. As they travel, they are going to encounter these different isolated settlements one by one. These settlements could be very different from other settlements they encounter, as they do not communicate or have contact with these other groups. This game does not have a prescribed setting for the game. Rather, it suggests the game master, called the facilitator, create folders. Each folder will represent a different settlement with different pieces of information for the game master to reach into to run this place. These folders might describe cultural practices, religious beliefs, or what makes this place unique from other settlements. Loaded for Bear also chooses not to answer the question as to why people choose not to travel. They do make some suggestions for options that could be the case in your game. Perhaps magic dulls the mind when it thinks of travel, or perhaps there are extremely inhospitable travel conditions. Maybe there are terrain or animals that are insurmountable difficulties. If the facilitator is looking for some inspiration, there are some example settlements that are included in the book. I quite enjoyed reading about these, as there were some interesting little details that really brought these places to life for me in my imagination. For example, there's a small detail about a community that really struggles to gather the resource of salt. In times when salt is not plentiful, the local leaders in the community step up to ration out pickled goods so that people can have access to salt. I find these details super unique and interesting, and they make these settlements worth exploring for the players. Loaded for Bear uses a version of Powered by the Apocalypse to run its game. The moves you'll be using most often are things like Deliberate Locally, which allows you to talk and negotiate with the community, gather resources, hike, hunt, and practice artisanship. Practicing artisanship allows you to craft items, which you can then use to trade. There's also Provide Care, Ransack, Survey Territory, and Take Shelter. To make a move in Powered by the Apocalypse games, you roll 2d6. If you roll below a 7, that is a failure and you might experience a negative consequence. A 7 to 9 is a mixed success. You'll likely achieve what you want, but you might have to pay a price or negotiate on how you're going to achieve it. On a 10, you achieve what you set out to do. You do have the stats of Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. Generally, these add a small bonus or a small penalty to any relevant moves that you're going to be rolling for. If you get to advance a character, generally this means you will improve a score. The other option is you can take league moves and league advancements. This is set out with a really cool map in the book, which shows you all the different skill paths that your characters can go on. I really love how this looks and how there's all these sort of different professions that link up or have similar skills to other professions or might branch off from one another. I just really like that sort of skill tree. Every character begins from home, and as you grow and advance your character, you get to make them more unique and they get to have more league moves. There's also some really efficient mechanics for your items in-game. Some items you're going to be able to use continuously without much change to them. Other items though, as you use them, they might lose their efficacy or they might eventually become exhausted. None of these mechanics feel that complicated, but they do convey that low fantasy setting really well. Player mechanics are really focused on those day-to-day things that a character who's traveling will need to do. To be a facilitator for this game, you don't have to tackle as many mechanics. The nature of Powered by the Apocalypse is the facilitator generally doesn't have to roll dice, as is the case in this game. The manual for the facilitator of this game concentrates on creating interesting and unique settlements for your players to encounter. I do wish that the facilitator's manual had included a few more suggestions on what to do in the travel mechanics of the game. It is entirely possible for player characters to get lost in this game or to fall off the path, and I would have perhaps enjoyed a bit more focus on that aspect of the gameplay as well as the settlements. What this game is focusing on is a form of ethnography, studying these settlements and getting to understand and know them through a character's lens. If you are interested in a low fantasy game, or you like the study of anthropology, or both, this could be a game that's worth picking up. It's pretty rules light, so it is a pretty accessible game in my opinion. If you're running a campaign that has a focus on travel, whether they're merchants or people in exile or whatever comes to mind, this would definitely be a game I would recommend considering. If you're looking for crunchy combat mechanics, this isn't the game for that. One advantage of Powered by the Apocalypse is it does cover a wide breadth of gameplay, but it doesn't do a lot of depth. So if this all sounds interesting, Loaded for Bear is available on itch.io for pay what you like. The link will be in the description down below. I want to say a big thank you to Robin Green, who reached out to me and gave me a copy of this game so I could talk to you guys about it. I also got a copy of an academic reflection on the game, which I found really interesting to read. I don't often get to talk about games that have made it into academic circles in one way or another, and I hope one day I can make more videos about games and academic lenses in general. But do let me know your thoughts down below. Do you know anything about games and academia? You also could tell me, if you were designing a folder for a settlement in this game, how would you make your settlement unique? While you're in the comments, feel free to like, subscribe, maybe share with a friend. I also have a Ko-fi page you can check out and donate if you like. Watching the channel helps a lot. I want to say thank you for everyone who continues to watch and support my channel. I hope you're all well, and I'll see you next time at the gaming table. Bye!